Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. I'm Zmore, the dad in DPS, and today we are talking about Nintendo and the Switch 2. Now, we've been waiting for information about this handheld console, this potential juggernaut, for a while. And when it comes to the handheld gaming market, it has become incredibly competitive in the past couple of years with the existence of the Steam Deck, the Lenovo Legion, the ROG Ally, the MSI Claw. There is a lot of handheld consoles slash PCs that are out there that make gaming on the go an incredibly easy thing to do using your Steam library or your Microsoft library, whatever you're really using. And overall, I think that's a really good thing. Competitivity in the market and competition in general just increases the chance that the developers and the people that are creating these things are going to put more effort in. And with the Nintendo Direct that we recently got about the Switch 2, we have a lot more information about what the Switch 2 can do. Now, the biggest problem we had is Nintendo has a habit of basically sitting around and using really outdated technology to run their game consoles. And with the Switch 2, it's looking like this thing is going to be, at the very least, competitive with the current gen. We have games like Cyberpunk 2077. We have Elden Ring. There is lots of games in there that are looking like they are quite high performance, but the Switch 2 is going to be able to run them. You know, Hogwarts Legacy. Lots of very, very good games out there. And this is a great thing to see because we are getting a new Switch, new Nintendo games, and there's going to be lots of cool things that are going on around with that. However, this is where we come to the shit sandwich portion, where you look at the prices of the Switch 2 and their games. Now, the price for the Switch 2 in America is currently announced as $450, and this roughly translates to £490 odd pounds for us. And when you actually look at the prices, yeah, that pretty much falls in tandem. The prices are going with the money conversion rates. Then you go to the games, and the games in the US are going to be roughly $80 for a digital copy and $90 for a physical copy. Now you convert that to pounds, and that's like 58 to 68 pounds roughly. And again, the conversion rate is being roughly applied to the prices of the games. I'm just saying that the problem is that the prices are a bit high. Now, when it comes to the prices of games in America, I've seen a lot of people talking about how tariffs are affecting these prices, but that doesn't really apply when you look at it on a kind of wider range. If the tariffs are applying on Americans buying the games, then the game should be more expensive than even that still. So the prices are universally higher than average. And this is a kind of problem for gaming in general, because I remember back in the day, I used to be able to save up pocket money for a couple of weeks and maybe be able to buy a new game and explore that and, you know, experience it. I'm really dating myself for that because games back in the day cost maybe 25, 30, 40 quid at a push. And I could buy games quite frequently through pocket money, saving up, collecting money, you know, doing things that kids do, chores, you know, doing work for your grandparents and just collecting a bit of money. Nowadays, they are pricing kids out of games. And when a console that is primarily aimed towards kids and families, it feels like they really are shooting the people that they are getting their games from in the foot. Because, for example, I bought this Switch game the other day for my kids, one of my kids' birthdays, and it was only about 20 quid. It was only about £20. And granted, it's a collection of old Sonic games, but in theory on the Switch 2, if I were to get the same game, it would cost £80. It's ridiculous. Well, not £80, £68, $80. It's very, very ridiculous the amount of price hike games are getting. Now, granted, that's probably not going to be for all games. It's certainly not necessarily going to be for all third-party Switch 2 games, but it is concerning because games are becoming more and more expensive as a whole. And this is even more concerning when the Switch exclusives come into the mix, where you have games like The Duskbloods by From Software, which everybody's hailing as Bloodborne 2. This is going to be a Switch exclusive, which I'm assuming is going to come with that hefty price tag, which, in a sense, you know, Soulsborne's games, I'm probably going to end up buying it. I'm going to pay it and I'm going to play it. And I am not happy with myself when I say I'm going to pay this exorbitant sum for a game, but I probably will because I love Soulsborne games. And I was really pissed off when PlayStation had Bloodborne behind their console so that I had to buy one to play it, with Demon Souls behind their console, so I had to play it. This is the kind of problem with these kind of things. And granted, Switch 2 is going to have other games like the Pokemon games, which I will play and I will enjoy, but it is that kind of way of you feel like they're being held hostage, especially when you're putting them behind the juicy price tag. This also raises another problem with Switch 1 games. Now, the latest Pokemon game that's going to be coming out is the new Pokemon Legends Z, which will be out in September, October, November-ish time, you know, autumn to winter. And the problem with that being is this game is getting released on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. But the Switch 2 version has a Switch 2 edition, which a lot of games are going to be getting. You have a Switch 2 edition for Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Party Jamboree. There is going to be even more games added to that list, no doubt, as time goes on. And the problem with this being is that if you have bought the original version of these games, if you've bought the Switch 1 version of Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, you then, to get into the additional features the new version of the game has, such as better graphics and better performance, which shouldn't be behind a price wall, you have to pay extra money to get that. On top of that, there is the additional features like there's the mobile app kind of related stuff, which, again, you're going to have to pay for that if you want to play this better version of the game. And this is really disappointing and sounds and is quite cash grabby from Nintendo. It's one thing to charge people for a better experience of a new game. It's another to have an old game and then you've already paid for it, you've already supported it, you've already supported that company, that development team. You did it when the game was brand new in most cases, and now you're being charged a premium to deal with a better gen update. It is lazy, it is disgusting, and it's not even old games. It's not like these games. It's not like they've released a Wind Waker like premium super special edition for the Switch 2. It's not like they've released a specific kind of thing from an old game that they've re-updated and remastered and redone. No, they've remastered games that they released only a couple of years ago. And I'm kind of annoyed at that. I didn't buy the games that have been remastered and for the Switch 2. I don't own them apart from Breath of the Wild, but that is really old at this point. But at the same time, it's kind of a spit in the face. And Nintendo is quite frankly taking the piss with the prices. But this is the way things are going. This is actually the way games are going. People have been saying that Grand Theft Auto 6 is probably going to have a $100 price tag on that game on release. We don't have that information, but people have been saying it for a while now. And this is the thing about games. They're becoming more and more expensive. Everything is becoming more and more expensive. If you look at my other channel when it comes to the Pokemon card thing, like, people are scalping the living crap out of everything. And this happens with tickets. This happens, like, and I mean, like, literally concert tickets. This happens with video games, consoles on launch. This happens with card games, Magic the Gathering. All these other kind of things are getting like hiked up and hiked up. And it seems like to have a frivolous hobby, to have a hobby in general these days, is becoming a very, very expensive thing indeed. I am one of those people that thinks life is here to be enjoyed. Life is here for you to go to work, do a little bit of work, not your whole life of work, and then live. You work so that you can live. You don't live so that you can work. But the more our hobbies become more and more expensive, it honestly feels like we live to work. Because how else are we going to be able to afford our video games, our card games, our miniature models, and all manner of things? And it's getting insane. And I've seen people saying that there's going to be a video game crash, just like there was in the 80s. And honestly, do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. I'm not an economist. I'm not the best person to talk about these things. But it scares the living shit out of me. Either way, guys, that is today's video. Hopefully you've enjoyed what I've said today, and if you do agree with the points I've raised, or you agree with anything I say in general, leave a comment down below, like that video, and subscribe for more content from me. Either way, I'll catch you all next time.
Shiny screens promising us brand new dreams, but it's all the same it seems, just a ploy for more greens. We'll queue up in the line.